Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Russell, Ned.
Lots of snails coming to the table.
I know,
They're grinding on us.
That was my snail mating call.
It worked. Look at them. Look at all the little guys.
As long as they're not big guys.
They're definitely all male snails.
Yep. That's my mating call.
I get it. My mating call calls like a really disturbing amount of hawks. It's kind of cool.
Hawks?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know what that means.
Just like the bird.
Just that's your
well, yours does snails apparently, and mine attracts hawks. I don't know, man. I was trying to improvise. I'm dumb. Welcome. Hey, you guys.
Welcome,
fellow travelers, to the Never Ending Adventure Podcast. My name is Russell.
I'm Natty P, and we is talking about slow love.
Yeah, actually, a very different tone than what I was just speaking in.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Welcome. Y'all look so sexy. Traveler, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, the one listening.
I just want a girlfriend.
I just want a girlfriend.
Gosh,
you smell nice.
What do you feel like? I need, some of these episodes we kick it off, and I'm like, dude, I just want your gut feeling on this one, man.
It is not going to be in my top 10.
Okay, it's definitely not in mine.
But it's not my bottom 5. Like I kind of just thought it was funny.
I mean, it had funny aspects to it. I think maybe just Snorlax's personality.
Snorlax's not great.
It's most punchable, easy.
Yeah, Snorlax's probably the most punchable, or really just like the way that they design snails in general. And this, like, you go from such a cute little snail guy who pops up in every episode to the giant.
Yeah.
But
like creepy,
what are you going to do?
Bulbous, gross flesh under a shell.
Yeah, a snail.
But if they what if you had just made the little snail bigger?
You just want them to be smooth. The thing is, like, I think in theory, with them being giant, they're just going to be the snails, like ugly looking snails.
It's like it's too bulbous though.
Well, again, you're getting into like any realistic looking animal up close or bug is really not all that. I don't know. Are snails bugs? Oh, geez, that's so bad.
Yeah.
Who knows I don't know.
I haven't been in 7th grade biology in a while.
Golly, man, they're not bugs.
I'm old.
That was stupid. Oh man, the last 2 episodes, this one included, I just got poo brain.
That's the poo brain left over from the eyes episode.
I know. Once we hit a really good episode, I'll get out of the poo brain funk. But until then, I'm going to be in this little bit of poo brain funk.
I mean, this one served no canonical aspects except for, I was going to say my tops of the episode was one when they were like, it's lady time. I was like, that's my tops.
Lady time.
Second tops of the episode was we got to see some of the BMO sassiness, man.
Man, BMO's my lovely.
Give me some sugar, baby.
BMO's the lovely. He got my gold star because he has been my lovely before.
I think he's been mine too. Yeah, he definitely gets the gold star. We'll gold star and we'll I don't know, give him a second gold star.
But we've had BMO dialogue before. We've had like funny BMO lines, and this has the BMO sass.
This is why I like the episode. It's just a good BMO episode.
It's really from BMO's in the beginning and the end.
Go.
go.
He was digging it. The slugs are making out. He's just like, go. Dude, he's a freaking cutie, man. Yeah, I've got like a couple observations from the top of the episode, and honestly, most of it's centered around BMO. He's adorable.
Yeah.
I hate Jake.
For all the fans out here too, I do want to say we are going to address BMO as him for a minute. I know BMO is technically gender neutral.
Good point.
And so there's been episodes where BMO is referred to as she and as he. So we're just going to say he right now. It's gender neutral. Please don't try and get sassy with us because we are acknowledging it right now. We're going to acknowledge it up front.
Yeah, we're a couple episodes late because I've definitely been saying he for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I unfortunately just do the he, like I assign male just like as a
default.
Yeah. which I suppose is not correct.
But in the show, and to give us credit, they do it in the show, and they say
that's what I was thinking.
Him sometimes, and later on, I think they say she sometimes, and so it is supposed to be this kind of general. In the show, addresses it very delicately too. So I just wanted to address it with us up front too.
I mean, at first I was like, is the controller his dong? But honestly, it plugs into his center hole. So I don't know what's going on with BMO.
You got to get off the controller vibe.
It was so distracting.
There is a great episode in the future where BMO like looks like he's forcing a poo out when he's like printing a paper. He's like printing paper, and it's like the paper's like coming out of his ass. Like
that's so cute. Man, yeah. What I was saying is I hate Jake because he hits him, and I just gotta give him a bad dog because
can't be mean to BMO.
Jake,
like
you
that.
freaking jerk, dude. And then the snail rammed into him, and then at the end, what is it?
The snail like
the
squirts juice on him too.
Yeah. Squirts juice. I think he enjoyed that.
He didn't really hesitate against it.
But then the girl snail's butt made a dresser crush on him. And I'm just like, BMO is getting just
the worst of it.
Worst of it in this episode. And I feel so sorry for this cute guy. That I just love. I actually do really enjoy BMO.
Man, it's going to make me so excited that like we're hyping it up now with these little BMO moments to get to our first BMO episode.
The sass of him turning up the volume and it's the volume. Okay, Jake, the volume is music for your game that you're playing.
Yeah.
Like if anything, you probably want it louder, right? Like I don't understand the big complaint there. I don't know. And then my other observation from the start was the review.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was like
in like a newspaper.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder if that's where Jake's advice column comes from the Duke episode in season 1.
It probably does.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember if that was supposed to be a specific Candy Kingdom reference or not, or like a Candy Kingdom specific newspaper. But
I don't know.
Probably the review.
I like to think by season 2, it's been a year maybe, and maybe he's grown as a publisher, or his name's gotten out there as a writer. Maybe he's got his own review his own advice column in the review.
Yeah.
In which case, good dog, but
but worse dog for smacking.
But bad dog.
So you didn't hate the episode. This honestly, just going back and rewatching it today, and it's just like this one does not strike the chord with me in any. I want to like if I were to be rewatching the seasons, I might skip this one over.
Okay. I wouldn't blame you. I think this is filler,
Yeah. And I think I got more deep stuff out of it. I got more like introspective stuff out of it, but for animation's sake, for storyline's sake, because first of all, I wanted to address that when the snail or slug, we should say, busts into their house.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I thought it was a slug the whole time. I was convinced it was a slug.
Yeah, because you were like, he didn't even have
doesn't look like a snail,
a shell at all before he came in there. He busts in, starts gooing up everybody, and he's like, "It's sad goo. I need a girlfriend." And Jake and Finn are like willing to help, right? They're willing to help. Like off the bat, they're willing to help. And they go up to the boat on the top of the treehouse, and they're like, "Dude, put our treehouse back." And he's like, "You're not going to help." Like he's totally abusing Finn and Jake.
He's like, "Oh, well, I'm going to get a girlfriend first. You got to help me do that."
The guy's first of all, he's like totally inconsiderate.
Well, he doesn't know them.
Yeah, exactly. That's very inconsiderate if you don't know somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. I get it. I get your point. I'm not going to play devil's advocate. I think it's
a jerk move. And thank goodness, Finn and Jake, obviously they were in need of an adventure because they were just playing video games now. So they're just like, whatever, this is our adventure for the day.
Don't want them to get sick. Maybe Jake was sick last episode because he hadn't adventured in a long time. He just needed an ounce of like, give me some juice. Give me some juice of an adventure, and then I'll be back.
They were gung ho for this one.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
But immediately they start trying to help him. We stumble on a girl snail in a few
lady time.
Lady, and that was my tops of the episode. Is lady time.
Yeah, that's
great. And it was like, woo, woo, woo.
My tops is a lot worse. I'll ask you the question. What's worse, getting slimed or grinded on?
Oh, do you mean by snails specifically?
I don't know. I just need you to answer.
I mean, slimed on.
By snails.
I guess
okay.
so.
Slimed on?
Yeah.
Oh no, never mind. I got confused on my own question. I agree.
Grosser.
Yeah, of course, way more gross. I was gonna say my top's just getting grinded on. What?
Russell wants some snail
No,
rinds.
not my snails. Dude,
Gross.
you're as thirsty as everybody else is in this freaking show.
Right.
Everyone's hecka thirsty and Adventure
So I'm
Time.
drinking a PBR.
Dude, again, what's PBR stand for?
It stands for Please Be Robust.
Well, I mean, Pim Ward has a way of drawing snails, man. I don't know if robust is how I would describe it, but
all right. I'm going to just drop this out here too.
Yeah.
My Jake mistake of the episode.
Ooh.
Making bacon pancakes. Is Jake turning into a lady snail. That's just bad. Just bad.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
It's gross.
I mean, everything else he does in the episode in terms of like stretching into the house, stretching out of the house, he's very strategic with his stretchy powers.
He's like, I just want to mate with snails.
And then he pretends to be a girl, and Snorlax's like, I'll mate with you.
I'll mate with you.
Oh, it's so just
but
so
Finn,
many.
Finn's grossed out by it.
So
too.
cringe. Yeah,
Finn's
man.
on your side, but then Jake turns into male snail. And that's my sexy character.
A little booby shake.
That's my sexy character for the episode is
male snail Jake.
Jake's male snail Jake. Yeah, dude, he does. Yeah, a little dancing pecs thing going on. It's a little like Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Terry Crews and myself. You know, like three iconic chest flexors.
Yeah,
in pop culture.
If you just mixed a magic dog and Terry Crews and a snail, that's just it right there.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I think we all know that I've got incredibly magical dancing pecs. I don't. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of his deep voice, though.
I kind of liked it. I kind of thought that was...
I feel like you would like it because you can kind of do that voice a little bit.
Pretty lady.
Yeah. I'm not feeling it.
No.
I'm not feeling it. I don't know.
I think just Jake should just not do snails again, just in general. Is like
but it's impressive his ability to do like just to absolutely morph into anything. And I will say, Jake had a moment where we got to see, like almost not the extent of his power, but we got to see something pretty incredible. Is he gets to be as big as a snail, which is huge.
Yeah.
And he doesn't strain at all. And that was something that I thought was interesting because I'm like, that is not even close to the limit of Jake's ability. He becomes massive, doesn't even stress or strain in any way.
There's a couple of episodes that are way down the line where we do see that Jake does have a stretchy limit. There's one that is the episode with the ancient psychic tandem war elephant. He stretches himself thin, literally. And then another episode that I won't spoiler drop, but he basically stretches himself to the limit. So there is a limit, but it is way, way beyond the size of the snail.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how strong and how capable Jake is. I'm certainly very interested in that. But man, Lady Time was interesting. We got our first female snail. And did you notice the inhale and the adjustment she made?
Oh, and yeah, she's like
she definitely, just everything from, I don't know, man, just her posture is what I'm looking for. Definitely went like full on, like, all right, gotta impress this snail, you know. And of course, Snorlax just is the worst, but her standards are pretty low.
Girlfriend.
Yeah, her standards are pretty low. She's just like, seems like a reasonable male.
Seems like a reasonable. Oh,
I don't know.
Low standards, maybe.
Yeah,
low entry level standards.
But she's a giant snail, so I don't really know.
Well, apparently they're just chilling all over the countryside because there's already the freaking 100 of them that come in later.
They're all in the banging mood. For sure.
They're on the mating mood.
Yeah. So he comes in so strong with their girlfriend. Yeah. It's bad.
So they teach him the lesson. They're like, okay, you got to learn how to talk to girls first. Tell them they smell nice. It's not bad advice.
Dude,
but I think if
when have you, I mean, well, you haven't. I don't think that
told
works.
Girls they smell nice.
You just randomly go up to someone, man, you smell really nice. Okay, that's creepy.
But see, here's the thing. You got to follow up. That's the thing that Jake and Finn don't do. They don't
You
tell
know their
him,
perfume.
but you don't. They were like, tell her she smells nice. He obviously has ground zero not knowing how to talk to girls, right?
Mm.
So if the only thing they taught him was tell her that she smells nice, he can't get off that topic. And he's like, you smell good. You smell like cupcakes. Can I keep smelling you? And like you keep talking about that. That's what's gonna like scare the girl away.
Yeah,
and that was my tops of the episode too. Outside of Lady Time was when the snail.
Tops.
And actually, you know what? That's my lovely.
Give me some sugar, baby.
What's your lovely?
The non-gold star lovely, which was BMO, was the lady snail that is voiced by the voice actress that does BMO. And she says, well, please don't ever talk to me again. Man,
you're abusing our lovely segment.
I'm not. We had a gold star lovely.
You're right. I know. I'm messing with you. Well, that's not a separate. All right. You're right.
We already did the soundbite.
Yeah, we already did the soundbite.
We'll do
you
double
pointed
soundbite.
The producer to do another one.
Gold. You can't golds. We have gold.
You triple stamp a double stamp?
You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd.
You kids in your silly movies from the late 90s.
I want a gold star BMO when BMO's a lovely, but I want to give credit where credit's due for other characters.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I liked the Pilgrim Snail then because she's got a donk. And so do apparently every female snail. They've all got donks.
Donkuses.
Yeah. And they're not afraid to use them. Those boots are made for walking, if you will. I don't know if that even works. But anyways,
I just wasn't expecting this much sexuality out of you tonight.
This episode is just so dang thirsty.
It's thirsty.
It's not even me, man. I don't feel like I don't feel any attraction to any of these characters in this show, but except for Marceline. But I gotta say, this show is thirsty, and this is a super thirsty episode. When Pendleton Ward comes on this podcast, I'm talking to him, and probably one of the first things I'm asking him is, "What's up with butts, dude?
What's up with snail butts?
Snail butts or just butts in general? It's all over this this show and this podcast."
I'll take it though. I think butts are funny. I would imagine that's the response.
Butts are funny.
Butts are funny.
Yeah, there's definitely. I was thinking about this a little bit actually. There's a level, a comedy. Of course, like you're always going to go back to the like slightly raunchy, the slightly sexual, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like low hanging fruit. And
it's a good
with
way to put
Cartoon Network, you certainly have limits to how deep you can go into that. And fart jokes and butt jokes are like pretty safe to play around in. Yeah. So maybe that's what it is. I'm not really sure, but I get it. And, maybe after I take a moment and just count my money from this advertisement we're about to have, we can we'll reassess.
We'll reassess. I think we'll go into just some more details on what we learned from this episode, because I think that there's some good lessons on lady talking and giving advice to friends that we could just pull out of this episode for sure. Other than beatboxing apparently is a snail mating call. Like, I don't know.
Sounds like I'm about to learn something, because I don't know if I learned anything from this episode.
You about to get learnt, son.
Gonna learn today. All right. See you in a minute.
Well, hi, all you guys. I'm Sal from the Bubblegum Lab Co. I'm here today to talk to you about a very important new discovery. Salt. It's good for a lot of stuff. It's good for seasoning your food. It's good for slug murdering. It's good for healing cuts in your mouth, burning your eyes at the beach, being a part of your sweat, and blocking out that nasty old bad luck snail from entering into your ears. You guys got to try it. Salt is an incredibly complicated and rare mineral found only on dining room tables of the ever-disappearing middle class. And as they say, ain't no salt on my banana, ain't that right? I'll tell you what, folks, I'll tell you that. That's right. For a limited time only, we will send you a salt and pepper shaker shaped like sexy snail butts to add that sweet grinding flavor to all of your favorite foods. Buy it today from the Bubblegum Lab Co. for only 4 schmeckles an ounce. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody.
Hey.
I just gave Russell hell because he was talking over every intro back into the podcast.
I was joking, and I don't have headphones, so I can't even hear it.
Yeah, no, you can't hear them lean in. It's a bummer.
Nobody tell them we're working on a budget.
We are working on a budget.
Man, we're at like it feels like a kitchen table that maybe you grew up in or was in your childhood home, like when your parents had their starter home.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe that we got.
We're on our starter home podcast setup.
In the studio, surrounded by musical instruments. Is actually, I'm not even going to complain about it because it is way better than that first episode in your guest bedroom.
Our first episode, if you want to go back to episode 1 and check sound quality, we were not in a studio and it sounded like garbage.
Not only that, but I think we've had so many downloads of that first one. I'm like, we're so much better now.
Yeah, we are.
We're so much better now. Go to the 6. Just skip to the 6.
Start with the most recent and work your way back.
If you got to. But welcome back, fellow travelers. As we said last episode, we are going to address our first fan mail. But we wanted to wait till we get through this episode, and then we'll address it at the end.
Yeah, stick around for that. Stick around for the outro if you haven't stuck around for the outro. Normally, we do have a either fun or sing-songy, or just an outro usually. And this one, we are going to do a quick outro and address Amp's email.
Yeah, and I think it's going to save us from another bad improv. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we've done a lot of those, haven't we?
Yeah, y'all might have just heard one that was co-written by yours truly and Ned.
Yeah, DJ Ned EP semi-improved ads are the best. I still think if you want to go back to I think it's episode 4, my favorite was the Manish Man ad.
The Manish Man ad was good.
Manish Man's mustache wax was probably one of my favorite ads.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that I feel attached to. But anyways, I think we need to move on and get back into the nitty gritty of this wonderful slug episode.
Oh, man. So the nitty gritty, like we discussed at the beginning, not my favorite episode, not my favorite artistic takes, not my favorite color schemes. It was just a lot of greens and yellows. Just not my favorite across the board. But I did dig deep. And because we do talk about, a lot of our personal experiences and life lessons and lessons about love, that this one was a big one when it comes to lady talking and relationships. And you can't get past that, you know? So really what I realized out of this is when I went through the second time and Snorlock has that moment where this girl ends up coming in, he just approaches her and she's like, you seem like a reasonable person and
a reasonable
male. And she goes, I like movies. I like old movies. And he just has this freeze up moment and he goes, girlfriend. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think this was maybe some of me in college. Not that I couldn't talk to girls, but every time that I had this, early college, I just felt like I was in this moment where as soon as you met a chill girl or a cool girl, I'd be like, girlfriend, is she a girlfriend material? Oh my God. What do I do? Do I ask her to go hang out at the dining hall? And I would just overthink this. And so I never would freeze up like him, but I realized that was so much grounded in my insecurities and my desperateness for wanting a relationship. And it was such a major flaw, and it was such a handicap of my own.
Yeah.
And so I saw myself, a lot of myself in Snorlock. And even we didn't even get to address the part where he had the swords and he started beatboxing, which was actually kind of a dope beat.
It's
if we're
actually
being
a sick
honest.
beat.
It's a pretty sick beat.
But I agree with what you're saying, man. I feel like, and almost I saw the different point too, but when you're first meeting when you're single and you're first meeting someone for the first time, and I feel like there's something about before you actually know the person, or if you just meet a girl or someone of the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever, that you find intriguing, and you're just like, oh, they're pretty, but then even and it's not to say that they're not as pretty as you initially thought, but I've noticed that that first meeting, that first interaction, it's really easy to go, man, they are awesome.
Yeah.
And so little context, maybe they left a great first impression or whatever it is. And then the next time you see them, it's almost like, oh, well, I don't have those romance goggles on and I'm seeing this person and they're just not my type or something like that. It's a lot easier the second time, like I guess I can see why. I've never experienced it that I know, but I guess I can see why love at first sight is a thing, because that first time you see someone, sometimes like you're seeing their best self, whether it's like at some sort of a function where they're like dressed like real nice and they're looking good, and you're looking good, you're feeling confident, you've had a couple drinks, and you're just like, man, that person is sick. I got to talk to that person and get to know them. And then the next time you see them, like, it's not like they're not cool or they're not pretty still, but there's definitely like a little bit of a, oh, hold on a second, like that was like a in the moment thing or whatever. And maybe he's just feeling nervous. He's like, girlfriend, he just doesn't know. He freezes up.
Well, it's the fact that when you meet a person, and you should be meeting them for the sake of getting to know them. You should be being like, that seems like a person I'm attracted to, but like, let me not think girlfriend, or boyfriend.
Yeah, so if you see someone that you're interested in, is kind of the concept. It's not just like, okay.
And to go into it and you have that mindset and you're insecure, like that's like you end up being a Snorlock. Like even if you can even if you can get words out, like just like I saw so many of my buddies do it too. Like they would take a total stranger on a date night, and it was super awkward because they were thinking, is this going to be my girlfriend? What do I do? Do I hold your hand? And you look like an idiot. And like my lesson, and this goes into lessons that we can do a full segment at the end of the show. It goes into like, you've got to meet people with the confidence of just being yourself. And that helped me a ton. That's how I met my wife. I was attracted to her at the start. And I went into it going, I just want to get to know this person. She seems really cool. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to pull the Snorlock and be like, this is girlfriend material. I don't freak out.
It's hard not to do that sometimes.
It's so hard. But that is so rooted in a person's self-confidence to be like, stand up, be yourself, man. And that was my point around the swords and the beatboxing, is that Snorlock adapted the beatboxing and the swords from Finn and Jake, right?
Yeah.
That was their things that they do to attract ladies. That wasn't Snorlock, So he took this.
He didn't even know who he was, though.
Yeah,
for what it's worth, he had no clue. He thought it was a freaking snail.
He thought it was a snail. The tree house wasn't his. The swords weren't his. The beatboxing wasn't his. And he didn't find true love until he was honest with himself, found his self-confidence and his self-realization, and then that led him to true love. And I was like, okay, that's my huge overarching lesson. It was like, ooh, like, I mean, the freaking freaking poetry snaps on that, man.
No, that was good. That was actually, you really brought up some good points on an episode where I was just like, I don't know, they're all thirsty.
they're all just thirsty.
But it's
snails.
cool. Like, he literally figures out who he is. And by the time that he figures out what he wants to be and who he wants to be, that's when the girl kind of came on its own.
Love falls in
organically.
Your lap when you like come true to who you are.
Focus on yourself.
Focus on yourself. Self-realize. And I'm a big person that's all about self-reflection, introspection, and like getting yourself in a good state before going out and finding love,
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I've always ended up in relationships when I finally gave up on looking for relationships, which is a weird concept, but that's just kind of how it's always happened for me.
I feel like I've heard so many of those stories, though, when somebody says like, yeah, they give up, and then you're like, no, you're not truly giving up. Like, and then when they go, okay, I'm really, really gonna actually like focus on my career or myself or my like, fitness or whatever. And then that's typically when, not to say love only finds its way to you when you're focused on yourself, but like get your shit together, And
I think the real lesson is, don't be a Snorlock and don't just get after every single thing that comes your way. Cause that was, I mean, all the snails, man. All the snails are thirsty. I don't know. I'm back to where I was before. I think
they all do come and grind on him as soon as he throws out a mating call.
Man, if it worked like that,
you freaking perv.
I'm just kidding. My tops was being grinded.
Yes, your tops was Snail orgy grind party over here.
No, it was human. No, I'm just kidding. Broadway.
Oh
man,
lesson is
know.
don't go to Broadway in Nashville.
This podcast is making me silly. I hope no one who's a future employer ever looks at this.
This is going on my resume.
Or my parents. I don't know. This is going on my resume. Or if I ever have kids. And make sure they don't watch Adventure Time for this podcast.
18 and old. We're marking these episodes as explicit.
I don't know, man. It's all just, I feel like, Ned, you had such a good point, but I don't know. I just feel like I need the comedy. And so I, of course,
it's hard not to be comedic with these episodes.
Yeah.
And dude, let's take that. Let's back up and talk about Adventure Time in general. And man, they can bring up so many real life concepts, but put them so lightheartedly that they're easy to digest. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like they take a single lesson and then they build a story kind of like on a parallel to it. You know, it's
exactly.
Like, it's not a story for that specific lesson, but it's a story based around the idea of that lesson.
Yeah.
Which I think is definitely something that keeps me wanting to watch. Like I mean, I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was funny. Like I actually laughed. And there are not a lot of Adventure Time episodes where I like had
an out loud chuckle, an
chuckle.
LOL.
Yeah, seriously. But I on this episode really did have a couple of them where I was like, okay, that's good. You know, that's good comedy. And so this episode, even though it wasn't the coolest thing ever, it wasn't like any sort of like crazy canon. Like we didn't, you know, I don't know. It was almost filler. It was just fun. I don't know. I enjoyed this episode a whole lot more than the last one. And BMO is probably the reason why.
Yeah. A beginning BMO, ending BMO being happy.
Go.
They're making out and BMO's like, go.
Why did they have to make out so close to our treehouse?
He's like, I don't know, man. Just don't bother them.
It's true though. Like I don't know.
Finn and Jake are freaking champs through this episode. Let's be real. They help this guy. It destroys their house, like massively destroys their house. They have to go rebuild the whole treehouse. And even at the end of the episode, they're just not really like peeved at him. You know,
this is an episode where I'm like, no, our character alignment of Finn was a little bit more accurate.
Yeah.
You know, but like the last episode, I was like, I don't know. I'm not so sure. Also, I just want to say Snorlax. The worst name for a slug.
Oh, it's Snorlax.
Snorlax. Yeah, Lock. Oh, jeez.
Snorlax.
Snorlax is a cool name. It doesn't fit. If I was gonna,
fit a slug.
If I was gonna name that slug, I would name him.
I'd name him like Oof. Bloof. I don't know. Something more sluggish. Snorlax does sound like somebody that should be guarding a dungeon.
Yeah, it does. Like some sort of a gremlin or a goblin or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to name him Tim. Tim the Slug.
Tim the Slug.
But anyways, man.
That's all I got. I mean, that you guys got my main lesson. My main lesson out of that one was all wrapped up in, you know, man, introspection, get your shit together. And like, if you're on the hunt for love, like, don't go into those. Like, you know, I can tell you from personal experience, man, as soon as you let go and become confident in yourself and then go, I'm just going to be myself around human beings. And whoever likes that, like that's freaking wife material. That's freaking husband material for you guys out there.
I think there's going to be.
And I was going to say my pun for this episode.
Oh, you don't have to have a pun.
Be comfortable in your own shell.
There you go, Ned.
I see what I did there.
Be comfortable in your own shell.
Look at
I
that.
think there's going to be a whole lot of baby slugs in a minute here.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's kind of my thought for this episode.
Some slug reproduction.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, dude. Just all the touch and butts that happened. I think, man, I have a couple of things. I just remembered. I got a couple of things listed.
Come on, baby. Hit me with it.
How they impress the ladies. And we talked a little bit. Finn's doing the sword out. This would be fast. And then beatboxing. Number one, dance. I think dance impresses the ladies. Number two, mating calls. So if this is my lesson, this is my advice.
All right. So what's your mating call?
My mating call? I don't know. I can't even beatbox. I don't have a mating call. Dancing. I have a weird dance. It's my mating call. Swords.
Swords.
Number three, have a great wingman or dog. and a giant protective, this number 5, a giant protective shell around yourself and your personal feelings, because you've been hurt before and you never want to have that happen again.
You think that's another lesson is like once you shed your shell and become your true self without a shell for protection is when you find true love? Man, I'm digging all deep for the metaphors here, man. I'm all about the metaphors.
I was just saying.
I love metaphors, dog.
You're trying to go deep, but I'm trying to go talking about personal shell around yourself and your feelings. And you've been hurt before, and you're never going to let a female touch your butt again. But I don't know. Anyways, you're right. I'm wrong. It's all good.
It's all guys. You missed one. The other one's touching butts, right?
Touching butts. Well, that's about touching butts. Y'all. This was fun. I enjoyed this conversation. I gotta say, I'm feeling a little chaotic today, and
it's all good. So we need a little bit of anarchy in this podcast. I feel like.
Well, an episode like this needs something, and so I felt like we needed to bring a little bit of like goofy, all over the place energy, and we definitely did. We didn't even talk about how the freaking salt just wrecked a grain of salt.
We didn't talk about that.
We just did now, dude. Salt is powerful.
Is there another metaphor?
Salt is powerful.
Take things with a grain of salt.
Even the smallest grain of salt can make you look ugly. I don't know. Y'all, I don't know if you for some reason enjoyed this episode.
If you for some reason enjoyed this episode,
thank you so much for following us. Oh, well, all right. Explicit. Thank you so much for following us and reviewing us. And please do. Like, seriously, it helps so much. Get that algorithm flowing. Instagram, you can check us out at Never Ending Adventure Podcast. TikTok at Never Ending Adventure Cast. Twitter at NEA_podcast. And email us, just like what we're about to talk about, at NEA.travelerslog@gmail.com. I've been Russell. And the person across from me has been
DJ Netty P.
His name is Ned. And the guy in the other room, his name is not
DJ Cowboy Hat.
DJ Cowboy Hat. I was going to say Cowboy Bebop because I'm super excited for Cowboy Bebop. It is actually Michael Hitchcock.
He's the man.
He's the man. Yeah, man. And our stuff was designed by Ali.H Creates. And we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thanks again for listening. We really appreciate the listens, and we really wanted to address some of our first feedback on the show, and we love this. It was brought to us by AMP. We wanted to address their couple of the notes on some of our episodes that we've had recently.
Heck yeah.
The first one that they brought up was that BMO is kind of the gender neutral. I can't believe I addressed that in the beginning of this episode.
That's so wild.
Before reading, and AMP, I really did address that before reading your email, and I was super pumped. I was like, oh my gosh, like I did want to address that. They do use multiple pronouns for BMO in the show, and that I don't know. It is a huge part of the show that BMO is a robot. That BMO doesn't have a gender, and I think that's awesome.
And we quite literally have talked about Ned's trying to get me to get a BMO tattoo. Mm-hmm. Like if there was another tattoo that Ned got, he's mentioned it might be BMO.
Yeah, I'll get you on that BMO tattoo train for sure.
Gosh, dude, I don't even have a tattoo. I don't know if we'll see.
The second thing that they brought up, and I love this, it was in regards to some of my statements when we were talking about his hero, the episode with Billy.
I was not on that one.
And yeah, this was the one that I did with my wife.
My wife.
Go back to episode. My wife.
That's our first time we did that. It's been 30-something episodes. I was waiting.
First Borat reference.
I did not mean to do that. I literally I've been wondering. I think I told Allie about this. I was like, who's going to say it first? Who's going to do the my wife? The my wife first.
Oh, but if you haven't listened, man, go back to episode 25 and listen to our episode about Billy. And here's what Amp says. Ned, you really give Billy a hard time for his nihilism and the fact that he himself isn't helping the community. But I don't see that as him being hypocritical. I see it as a show that he is truly lost. With the void in his chest, I see a broken man so upset by the world that he doesn't even know how to help anyone anymore. Thus, he hides himself away. He suggests community service to the boys more as a guess, showing that he doesn't even know how to help anymore. And that's why he's so conflicted. He doesn't even know how to help
It's worded so well.
Yeah.
Because
I was like,
that was what I was thinking too. I was like, I don't know, man.
And I don't know. It could bring up some of, maybe we expect the worst in people, or maybe we swing towards one side of one opinion or one side of one emotional action, as our first guess. But I was like, man, Amp over here really hit the hammer on the head that it's not as much nihilism as it is a potential sign of depression and kind of
I think it can all kind of reflect off of each other. I do feel like depression and nihilism and uncertainty and feeling burnt out on what you're doing or whatever. I think all that can flow together, unfortunately, well. But yeah, no, I like the way it's worded there.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And Amp, thanks for bringing that up, because I think that we all, I have felt it in myself multiple times in the last month of the burnout and I self-implode because I don't know what there is to do that I can help. And I just end up sitting there. So,
it's like, super. Is your head going to blow up or is your gut going to blow up? Are they going to blow up at the same time? Wait, that was last episode. Yeah, well.
But regardless, great thoughts, and I think that it's gonna send us thinking more about Billy for sure, even when Billy comes up again in future episodes.
And then there was a little bit about governments, right?
Well, there's a little bit about Billy's greatest feat was he fought a bear.
Oh, he did fight a bear.
He fought the bear.
Dang, I am so bummed that I wasn't on that episode.
Oh man, you missed a good one. Billy's great. We're gonna have more Billy episodes. Cool. Don't worry.
Billy is so sick.
But Amp did want to address in the Gut Grinder episode where Finn and Jake go and they go to all the villages.
Which y'all didn't like it very much. I remember.
No, I'm still not a Gut Grinder fan.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not that great.
But they weren't specifically kingdoms, they were villages, which makes sense. There's villages, there's dukes, there's self-governing systems.
But there's a reason they point that out, right? It's because it's like the first well, I guess, I don't know.
It's more of an elected official.
Yeah, elected official, yeah.
That they do have a governing structure outside of
pretty
princesses.
Cool. That's pretty cool. Pretty interesting. We just don't know if it's in the land of I guess it's unspecified of where that location is.
The world is U at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the world is all U at this point. So
gotcha.
And that's kind of, it's good to look at. The Candy Kingdom is obviously a pretty finite area, right? Mm-hmm. That there's all these other areas, and they all have different governing structures. So it is good to bring up the fact that there doesn't have to be a king or a princess or a queen, that we do see these villages operating in pretty what looks like self-sustaining societies that are all, operating on elected officials.
Democracy.
In democratic societies.
Shoot, dude, that's interesting. That's fascinating that, a smaller village would have that, whereas like the larger kingdoms, I guess, though maybe it makes sense if you go through some sort of an apocalyptic event, the first thing that's going to pop up are going to be kind of monarchies and that sort of a thing. People are going to go, oh crap, I can take advantage of this and I have this resource or whatever and I can rule this area. Mm-hmm. So,
well, it brings up a big Adventure Time concept in general, that a lot of the kingdoms you can kind of see, especially with the Candy Kingdom at the center, that Princess Bubblegum is creating the candy people. It's not like a society of people that came together and they were like, we need to function as one. It's like Bubblegum and I'm not going to do spoilers because there's a lot of actually some future episodes about how the Candy Kingdom came about.
And I'm sure we'll find Bubblegum's people as well or whatever at some point, I would imagine.
To some degree, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's a good theoretical there. But
we'll see.
Again, we wanted this outro to be a little bit longer and really shout out to our first fan appreciation, keeping us in check.
So exciting, y'all.
Giving us feedback and just making us think more. I love it.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
and we can't wait for more to come.
Amp, keep them coming. We love it. We love it.
Call us out.
Call us out. Do it. Shred us to pieces.
I like the deeper thoughts. I think that's my favorite part of that. Certainly is the diving deeper into Billy and all that. And when I say call us out, I don't necessarily mean correct us.
You mean to say that also we're analyzing this show as just two people, but we've got open
I don't know
minds.
what I'm doing. I have no clue.
I don't know where I am.
I show up. I show up. I'm in Ned's basement. You know, I have a henchman for some reason. None of it makes any sense. Sometimes I do voices.
Sometimes I do voices. A baby face.
I'm Babyface.
All right.
And I'm saying goodbye, and I'll see y'all next week.
See you next week.